Good morning, everybody. We're going to be working on page 178 today. And we're going to be working with our problem sets. And we're going to be comparing fractions by using the greater, less than, or equal to sign. And we're going to have to decompose fractions greater than 1 into mixed numbers for us to really look at them and understand which mixed number is larger. If we don't convert or decompose, then it's going to really cause us issues when we're trying to find which one is greater, less than, or equal to. So let's start with the first one. It's going to get pretty easy, but when we get further in, it's going to get relatively more difficult. All right, working with A. We can see we have 5 and 1/3, and we have 4 and 3/4. Right away, this is something that we can really look at, and this is pretty easy for us to see on which mixed number is the largest. We have 4 whole, but we have 5 whole here. 5 whole is much larger than 4 whole by 1. So I know my greater sign is going to be at this mixed number. This is simple. We really don't have to do too much here. It's really just telling us which one is larger. 5 whole is. For our next problem, we have 12 sixths, and we have 25 twelfths. These are both fractions greater than 1. We have to make them mixed numbers or wholes. And if you can see, 12 sixths, I know that 6 can go into 12 2 times, because 6, 12. There we go. See? And that is 2 groups. So I know that this is not 12 sixths. It's actually 2 whole. Okay? Looking at 25 twelfths, if I were to skip count my 12s, 12, 24, that's exactly where we want to get to, 24. Okay? And that is 2 groups, 1 and 2. If we were to take 24 twelfths out, if I took 24 twelfths out, or 2 whole, I am going to have 1/12 left. So this fraction actually is a bit larger. This is actually 2 and 1/12. So 25 twelfths is actually just a little bit bigger than 2 whole by 1/12. So that's going to be the sign we're going to be looking at. 25 twelfths is the larger fraction. I hope that I'm hoping that you're starting to pick this up now, where we're converting these fractions greater than 1 into mixed numbers to see which one is larger. You have to do this. You just can't guess here. It would be impossible to figure out by just guessing. We need to look at the mixed number. All right, let's do 18 sevenths, and let's do 17 fifths. Okay, so I know when I skip count, so 14 will be, if I go one more, no. So 14 will be the closest that I can get to without going over. So that is going to be 14 sevenths, which is 2 whole. And I'm going to have 4 sevenths left. Okay. So this fraction has changed. So I have this fraction as 2 whole and 4 sevenths. Okay, just make sure to look at that. And then this one over here, I know that I can skip count by 5, 10, and 15. Oh, that's as close as I'm going to get to here, 15 to 17. So I'm going to take out 15 fifths, which is 3 whole, and I have 2 fifths left over. So I have 3 whole and 2 fifths. And I know that 3 whole is much larger than 2 whole, so this is my answer. So 17 fifths. And we're just going to keep on doing this over and over and over again. Now, what I really like about D is asking us to make common denominators here, because looking at 5 and 2 fifths and 5 and 5 eighths, those are really close. I'm not really sure which one is larger. They're both mixed numbers, but what we can do is we can make common denominators here. And to make common denominators, we need to multiply 8. We need to multiply this 8 times 2 fifths, and then we will get our new fraction. And then we are going to multiply 5 with 5 eighths. You're just all we do is to find common denominators. We multiply the other denominator with a fraction, and we'll get the same. So let's do that. Let's change these to 5 sixteenths. So 16 40ths, and this will be 5 25 40ths. Okay. Now we know which one is closer to the whole. It's definitely 5 25 40ths. So this one is much larger. That's all we have to do. We just have to literally multiply this by 8 and this by 5 there. And then we have common denominators here, which is awesome. It makes it so much easier. We got 40 and we got 40 here. Makes it so much easier for us to see which one's closer to the whole. All right, so we're going to do this again for E. So I want you to pause this video, and I want you to try to make common denominators for these mixed numbers to see which one is closer to the whole and which one is larger. So pause this video and do that now. All right, let's move forward. We're going to do 6 and 2/3, and 6 and 3/7. And I can see this is going to be really hard for me to decide which one is greater, 6 2/3 or 6 3/7. Don't guess. We got to make common denominators here. So I'm going to take this 7, the denominator, and I'm going to multiply 2/3 by 7. And I'm going to take this denominator thirds, and I'm going to multiply that by the other, this fraction here. Boom, and boom. We just multiply the opposites so that we get the same denominator of 21. And that's how we find common denominators. So let's see what we get here. 2 times 7 is 14, and 3 times 7 is 21. Okay. Let's see what we get here. 3 times 3 is 9, and 21. All right, cool. So I can see here that 16. I can see here that 6 and 14 21st is the fraction that we need. This is the larger one. This is the much larger one. There we go. All right, and then back to F. We need to make these into mixed numbers. So let's do that. Let's go into 31/7 and 32/8. This is going to be a tricky one. This is tricky. This might be really close. So I have 7. So I'm going to just skip count and see how close I can get. So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. Okay, so 28 is what I want. So if I take 28 sevenths, which I know is 4 whole, because it's 4 groups. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's 4, so I have 4 here. So I got 4 whole. And what do I have left? So 3 sevenths. Okay, so I have 3 sevenths left over. Right, so that's my mixed number. Okay, and here let's look at skip counting of 8. So 8, 16, 24, 32. Ooh, that is exactly 32. All right, so this is exactly 4 whole. All right, so that's 4 whole. You know what though? But 4 3/7, it's a little bit larger than 4 whole because we have a fraction that's right next to this whole here. So this is the larger fraction, 31 sevenths by 3 sevenths. Wow, look at all that work we did. That's crazy. All right. What I would like for you to do is I would like for you to do the next round of problems. These last 4. I'd like for you to try these last 4 and see if you can solve them on your own. And then check your answer with me and see where you went wrong in your math and see what happens. So pause this video now and work on G, H, I, and J. All right, so we're going to go through these pretty quickly so you can see your answer and check your answer. So I have 31 tenths, and I know that 10 can go into 30 3 times. So it's going to be 30 tenths, and I'm going to have 1 tenth left over. I know 30 tenths is 3 whole, and I have 1 tenth left over. 25 eighths. I know that 8 can go into 25 3 times, so I'm going to take out 24 eighths, and I have 1/8 left over. So this is going to be 3 and 1/8. I know that 1/8 is closer than 1/10 because that's 9 away. This is 9 away from 10, right? And this is only 7 away. So we know that 1/8 is closer to our next whole. So that's going to be our answer. 25 eighths. All right, for this next one, 39 twelfths. And remember, pause this video at any time if you need to catch up. Okay. I know that I'm going to take out 36 twelfths because that's 3 whole, 12, 24, 36. And I'm going to have 3 twelfths left over. So this is 3 whole and 3 twelfths. 6, 12, 18. So that's 3 whole. And I have 1/6 left over. So this is 3 and 1/6. All right, this is actually an interesting one to look at. 3 whole and 3 twelfths, or 3 and 1/6. Which one is closer to the whole? And this is where it gets tricky. We need to find common denominators here. This is why we need to find common denominators. But what you can see is that 6 and 12, 6 can go into 12 twice. So we only need to change one of the fractions. We need to make that 6 into a 12. So let's do that. We're going to multiply by 2. The numerator and the denominator. So this is going to be changed to 2 twelfths. So 3 and 2 twelfths. So I'm going to change this to 3 and 2 twelfths. Now we have common denominators. which one is the larger fraction? Which one's closer to the whole? Well, 3 3/12 still is. So that's going to be our answer. All right. And then for our last ones, we have 49/50ths and 3 whole and 90/100ths. Well, looking at this, you should see that we have 3 whole. It doesn't matter. We have 3 whole. This is not even 1 whole yet. It almost is 1 whole. It's actually 1 away from 1 whole. But that is our answer for that problem. And 5 5/12. 5 51/100ths. You need to ask yourself, we have the same wholes here. So they're 5 and 5. But what you really need to ask yourself is, which one is closer to the whole? Which one is almost a half? 5/12. 5/12 is not a half yet. It has to be 6/12. So it's close to a half. But what about 51/100ths? What's half of 100? You should say 50. So this one is closer to a whole. It's already a half. So 5 1/2 right here. So this is our larger fraction. All right, boys and girls, that was it for today's lesson. It was a doozy. A lot of work here, but really good stuff. A lot of what we've previously have learned about finding common denominators, converting mixed numbers to, converting fractions greater than 1 to mixed numbers. All right, have a great day.